Okay, so this is a very special live stream. It's very special because we just destroyed an industry that's been around for 30 years using AI. So I want to show you that precisely. But before I show you the magic of what we at GrantOrb AI just built, I would love to talk about this industry a little bit so you understand the significance of this event. And before I jump into that, I would love to talk about who I am. So I'm Deepa. I'm the founder of GrantOrb.com. It's an AI-powered platform to help make smarter grant funding decisions. We started out in 2024. Actually, in 2023, we did a little pilot. In 2023, where 50 people came and used our auto generation grant application. So we started off with auto-generating grant applications in 2023, which is very early. And there's a popular crowdfunding platform in the crypto land called Gitcoin, and they have quarterly funding rounds. And I literally timed the release of GrantOrb with the Gitcoin round in November 2023. Just see like if people are even interested in using auto-generated grant application forms. And my idea was to really help bridge the gap for people applying from emerging markets because language is a big barrier for them and all the grant submissions take place in English. This is like a standard across the board. No matter, even if you're funding, even if you're giving money to like countries in Africa or like non-English speaking countries, grant submissions have to be in English. So that itself is a big no. So I wanted to really dismantle that with AI because with AI, quick translations, like you can write it out in Hindi and generate the whole grant application in English, or like you can write it in Chinese and generate it instantly in English is very much an AI thing. So that was the idea behind, but I was very shocked to see that people from even English-speaking countries use GrantOrb to auto-generate grant forms applications, and I was like, wow, nobody really likes writing grant applications. Plus, I come from this industry. I've written many grants and I've won many grants, and I procrastinated the task of writing grants till the very last second, I would say. So yeah, I'm really excited because we've been working on this problem since 2023 November, and we've really grown in our lots of nonprofits and lots of change makers from all around the world are using GrantOrb.com to write grant applications, and they've been winning grants. So we've had tremendous success there. But I've been working on this problem since then, and I look at the whole spectrum. For me, it is literally, at the end of the day, we really want grants or grant funding to go to projects that make an impact. That's the ultimate goal. And we can't just solve one side of the spectrum and forget about the rest, because the rest is the one is the one that needs to automate now. Like, this is the grant makers. I'm talking about the grant makers, the people with bags of money who want to allocate funds towards projects, and they have this heavy task of fund allocation and they don't know how to go about it. And they might hire a bunch of people and say, hey, I want to start a philanthropic organization, and you guys manage my philanthropy, and you guys decide how I should distribute $1 trillion, say, for instance. And the team would come and they're like, okay, let's identify our focus areas. What is it that we want to fund? Now let's craft grant application forms. Let's put out these forms. Let's do a call for application, or RFP, as they call it, request for proposals. Let's invite applications. Let's review them. Let's assess them. Then let's decide how to allocate your $1 trillion. Literally, this is how it is. But if we made one side efficient, we cannot have the other side being inefficient, because then at the end of the day, the impact is not reached. So we made the grant seekers efficient. We've given them this platform where they can generate grant applications in microseconds. It's aligned with funders' needs. The goal is to write them a winning grant proposal. That's the whole USP of GrantOrb. It's not just a writing application. It's not just for writing any grant application. It's to write winning grant proposals. So we've made that side efficient, but the other side remains inefficient, highly inefficient, because as part of my job, and since I've been in this space for donkey years, I've seen grant application forms that are firstly highly complex to understand. They will use all the buzzwords in the world possible, and they're very difficult to understand. They will use like, I don't know, like just think of all the possible buzzwords like water equity, gender equity, uh, innovation, multi-year something, 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 something very confusing that half the people who would want to apply for funding are not able to like figure out the writing itself, the language itself. That's problem number one. Second, they ask like team number of questions, whether it makes sense or not. They think the longer the grant form, the more obstacles you create for grant seekers. Maybe that's a great way to like the ones who can suffer are the ones who are worthy of literally that's the philosophy, I guess. Literally that's the philosophy, because they made me suffer a lot. I've written like grant I've written like 20 page, 20 question grant applications, and I know that they can seriously reduce the number of questions they ask down from 20 to like 10. They don't need to make you suffer so unnecessarily. And also, the other big problem is that they keep repeating the same question again and again. So they might think they've crafted like 20 questions, intelligent questions. They're going to collect new kind of data, new form of data to help them make funding decisions, but they're literally collecting the same data again and again and again, because I guess the whole psychology has been to make you suffer, make the grant seekers suffer, because we come from the position of authority. We've got $1 trillion to allocate, and you guys are coming from like receivers. You're going to take this damn money, so you might as well suffer during the grant application stage. I guess that's the psychology. Why would somebody want to do that? Now, I've also worked on the allocation side. I'm not just being a receiver. I've also worked on the allocation side. I've worked with Salesforce Foundation. I've given tons of grant funding. I've worked with United Way Mumbai, and we've given tons of grant money. We've fundraised and we've given. We've fundraised and we've given. I worked for another nonprofit in Singapore, and we had like tons of tsunami money. South Asia was hit with tsunami. Southeast Asia was hit with tsunami at one point of time, and there was so much funding that came in, and there was so much funding needed to be allocated that they were just sitting on top of this big pot of money that needs to be allocated. So I've worked on the allocation side too. So I know how things are done. I know literally how things are done. And at Salesforce and almost all the organizations that I've worked with, we've been very innovative. Okay, innovative itself is a buzzword, but we've been very like outcome driven. What is it we're trying to achieve? Like, what is it? And at United Way, like my board was all like corporate board, representing like VCs and representing banks and stuff. And they really got their business mind to it. And they're like, maybe we should consider grant funding, like making an investment. It is free money, but it is kind of like making an investment. So we need to think differently. So what I'm trying to say is that luckily all the organizations that I worked with thought differently about how to allocate funds, and I've really gained insights from there. But also like now that as part of GrantOrb.com, where we are in the business to help people win grant funding, I look at the whole spectrum, and I see so many grant application forms day in and out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like same problems persist. Language is too difficult to understand. The same question is asked 5 different times. Unnecessary complexity. Grant description. They keep repeating grant description in 5 different ways, and are using all the buzzwords. Like, and like the grant seekers have to figure all this out, and then they need to respond. So we've now. The good news is, GrantOrb.com just made the generation of grant forms automatic. It is automatic. All you got to do is describe what is it that you want to give money for, and GrantOrb's AI will intelligently craft a grant description that is easy to understand. Even a 5-year-old can understand what is it that they want to give money for and use GrantOrb AI to write a grant application for it. The questions are simple. The questions are what is needed, nothing extra, nothing extra. We don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste time. We are in the business of doing good and we need to move fast. We don't want to waste anybody's time. I know, even if I'm coming from the position of authority and with $1 trillion to give, we need to be efficient, because at the end of the day, a goal is to achieve impact, make real impact. So that's a lot of the design thinking behind it. Like, let's go with the end goal in mind. What is the end goal? And let's like think about the end goal rather than the fact that we've got money to give, you know. And so the forms are really simple to understand. You just have to describe in your simple words. It can be anybody, broken English, just string of words is fine. Just describe what is it that you want to give money for. The AI will automatically generate a grant description, eligibility criteria, assessment criteria, and a set of questions for you. You can take those questions, publish, and let all the people who you want to invite, or let the world respond to it if they have to respond to it. So today, let's dive in, because I literally architected and coded this entire grant form auto generation. The base work was done by my engineers, and I literally put a ticket in Trello after testing it about all the things that I want to be improved in this grant form. And my engineers have been, we've got a long roadmap, so they've been busy, but I was like, I have no patience to wait. Like, I need to get this done. And so I literally took on Claude Code Desktop and wipe coded all the improvements that I had put it out in Trello for my software engineers. So instead of communicating to my software engineers what are the improvements that I need in this grant form, I literally communicated that to Claude and worked with it. It took me, like, I would say, half a day and a full night's sleep, because next day you just wake up with a better way of just implementing it, and that's it. Half a day and a full night's sleep, and next day in the morning, like another 10 minutes of testing, and wow, Claude and me had totally nailed it. All my engineers did was review and publish. So that's it. So let's jump in. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's show you how to destroy a 30-year-old industry that has failed to evolve. I would say they have failed to evolve. Even with AI, they have failed to evolve. If you go to any of these platforms where one can generate grant forms, and everybody's giving money, let me tell you, corporations are giving money, AI companies are giving money, universities are giving money, Web3, being in Web3 is giving money, foundations are giving money, individuals are giving money, lots of money. When individuals give lots of money, like anything above, like, I would say, like, anything above like $1,000, they want a piece of paper to tell them where the money will go. So everybody is giving money, trust me, and that industry has failed to evolve. It's their problem, and we just smoke them like in a day. So let me start off with GrantOrb. I've done enough talking. Let's do some showing. So this is, I want to see if you can see what I see. Yes. So this is GrantOrb, and we were anyways enabling our grant seekers to create grant forms based off the existing grant forms. So that had always been there since 2024, because we want to like take the form that the other foundations have put it out and load it up on GrantOrb, so people can then write an exact grant application for that form. So we've always been doing that, but what we've recently just added is the ability to create forms from scratch for those foundations and anybody who's in the business of allocating funding and needs to see a piece of writing as to how the money will be used. So go to dashboard. This is grant library. This is where basically my goal, my vision, my big vision is all the possible grants that are available to apply for funding are in this grant library. Till then, I'm curating it, and now anybody who creates grant forms from scratch and would want to like invite submissions can use our platform. It is I can't even say how futuristic it is. I don't want to say 1000x because it's not even 1000. It's literally taking you into the future. So, okay, so say you are a grant maker, you've got like money to give, and you want to allocate funds, and let's just say create template. Name it, just name something, and I would say like, what is it that I want to give money for? I want to give money. I want to give. I want to give. I just want to get say this naming is just for your reference. I'll just say LLM youth. I'm just, I want to give money to youth who are using LLMs. I'll just say form. I mean, you don't even have to say, you can just put test also, or you can put whatever and just pick what is the kind of document you're generating, and you're generating a grant form. You can go here. There are two options. Upload existing is for the ones that foundations already have a form, but you want to load them up on GrantOrb so that you can then use AI to write it. But this is for grant makers who want to use GrantOrb.com to auto-generate grant forms, intelligent forms. That's a big difference. These forms that I have been seeing day in and out are, oh my gosh, pain. But we're dealing with the pain. But now I'm showing you another option. You can generate really great grant forms that your grant seekers will love, and you will make far more impact. Like, you will make impact, let me tell you that. So create from scratch, use this, and just say, I want to give, I don't know, let's be very generous. 30, how generous do I want to be? $50,000. $50,000 to 3 high schoolers in you can totally ignore the spellings. This is the beauty of AI in Vancouver, who are using LLMs in a highly creative way. Okay, I'm not even using the word innovative. I don't know why. So all I'm saying is I want to give $50,000 to 3 high schoolers in Vancouver who are using LLMs in a highly creative way. This is it. Now let's generate the template. And as you can see, it is generating. It takes a few seconds here, but it is literally generating. This is a live stream, by the way. And this feature got pushed out just yesterday. So fingers crossed. This is not a recorded session. Everything is happening live here. So I'm literally praying at this point of time, although I've tested it. But still, it's always very, I'm always nervous. I don't know. I have faith in my AI, but sometimes things happen. But anyways, let me show you while this is happening. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait in front of your screen. If you are somebody who's being tasked to generate forms, write down the grant description, the eligibility criteria, the assessment criteria, and come up with a set of questions, you can, at this point of time, if you're using GrantOrb.com, shut your laptop, go have a cup of coffee. When the form is done, it sends you an email, and you can also see our AI communicates here. And maybe I can show you one of the templates that I created. Let me show you another one. Is this when did this? Anyways, let's just view this template. Okay, this is an existing template, like a foundation that wants to give money. I will go back to dashboards, so no active tasks. So whenever the GrantOrb AI gets engaged, there's a folder here where it says active tasks, and you can go and look over there. But I should have kept that thing open. Anyways, let's see. No, this is also, is it in my drafts? Okay, since this feature okay, yeah, it's here. It's in my drafts. So basically, this is the template that the AI has created from the tiny little description. I hope you keep the description in mind, because that's very important. I literally said I want to give 50,000 CAD to 3 high school students. In my really not so thought about English, I literally just dumped my thoughts. So the GrantOrb AI has come up with the name for the grant form. As I said, it will come up with a professional name. So it's saying Creative LLM Grant for Vancouver High Schoolers. It has come up with a description. GrantOrb is offering, so because I created this under my profile, it's picked up the name of my organization. So yes, as a grant maker, if you once you start using GrantOrb, it's great that you create a profile, because then you can manage your different grant application forms and assessments and a lot of other things that are going to come all under one profile. So GrantOrb is offering 50,000 CAD. Now this is auto picked, by the way. I didn't mention GrantOrb, but because I was creating under my profile, it auto picked my name. To 3 high school students in Vancouver who are exploring and utilizing large language models in highly creative ways. And you can put the link to your foundation if you want, but and this is the eligibility criteria. Applicants must be currently enrolled high school students living in or attending school in Vancouver, British Columbia. Applicants must showcase an original project, tool, or artwork that creatively utilizes large language models. At this point of time, if you want to add any more details to your eligibility criteria, you can and save it. But this is like an auto-generated eligibility criteria, which I think is fantastic. But if you want to add something more, like you want to put like age range or something, but we've said high schoolers, and that's understandable. Like, only high schoolers, and high schoolers are of a certain age range. So assessment criteria. Applications will be assessed based on creativity and originality. How unique is the application of the LLM? Technical execution, how effectively is the technology utilized, and project impact. What is the real world or artistic value of the project? And presentation. Oh, these are students, right? So they need to be overall assessed. Like, how did they communicate the idea? Because at the end of the day, if you are not able to communicate your idea, I think it's a big problem, right? Nobody will know about it. So I think these assessment criteria are fantastic. Like, this is literally auto generated from that 2-line description. Okay. And these are the set of questions. So you can further customize this template. If you want to add more questions, you can do it. But you know what? I trust the AI. Like, the AI has already impressed me with a really fantastic grant description, a really great eligibility and assessment criteria. And I'm now reviewing the set of questions. The creative idea. Tell us, okay, let's see how many questions come up with. 9 questions. Okay. The creative idea. Tell us what you are building with large language model. What is the core concept and why is it highly creative use of AI? The creator. Who are you? Tell us a bit about yourself. What drives your curiosity? Oh my gosh, I'm in love with these questions. I just feel they're so logical, because this is how I would want to give money. Like, if I had money to give and I want to give, I would love to know your idea. I would love to know who you are, like who you are, what excites you, because that's so cool. Like, the Vancouver connection. The grant is specifically for high schoolers in Vancouver. Tell us which school you attend and how being in the city influences your work or community. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I'm so in love with just the flow, the flow and the relevancy of the questions being asked. What you have built so far. We want to see that you are a builder. Okay, amazing. The wow factor. What makes your project different from standard AI tools? Technical approach. Now, because this is large language model, this is a technical grant that's being made, you would want to understand it a little bit more. And so how you actually making this work under the hood, challenges and roadblocks, how will you use the funds? Interesting. And mentorship and next steps. So this is amazing. I actually really like it. I love it. I don't want to change anything about it. And so I will just go ahead and like publish grant form. I love it. I will show this in the grants library. So people, if any student from Vancouver happens to come upon grantorb.com and says, oh my God, there's actually a grant available for me, can literally pick up that template and write it also using GrantOrb. Because at the end of the day, I'm just going to publish this template so I can show you where it will appear. Creative LLM grant for Vancouver high schoolers. By the way, this one I generated yesterday when I just pushed out, when my engineers just shipped the code, and it went public for the first time. And I'm like, let me test this out from my mobile phone. So I literally put in the description, which was very broken English, literally just string of words saying, I want to give money to growers and maintainers of small sidewalk gardens in Vancouver. Because, there are actually people doing that. And so might as well give them money so they can, buy all the stuff, the tools and seeds or whatever they need, or for the time, like just appreciate the time. So that was the idea. And so I came up with that really two-line description on the spot. And this is the grant that this is the very first grant ever in public is this one, Vancouver Sidewalk Garden Grant. And the idea was to give them small amounts of money because $2,000 is max. GrantOrb is allocating up to $2,000 in funding to support dedicated city gardeners in Vancouver who can create and maintain small, beautiful sidewalk gardens. So this description is really not my actual words that I put in the wizard. Those were like just broken string of words. Eligibility is applicants must reside in Vancouver. Projects must focus on planting and maintaining small sidewalk or boulevard gardens. Both individual city gardeners and small community groups are welcome to apply. So individuals can also apply. And so these are the set of questions. And this form is already published. So as you can see, I can apply for it now. I live in Vancouver and I want to maybe maintain a sidewalk garden, and I do want to apply for this funding. And I can say, my name is Deepa. I live in Vancouver, and actually write this whole grant application form. Because the idea is to like literally just describe your idea. Let the AI write it for you. And it's AI plus human collaboration all the way, even for your grant creation from scratch. Like if you don't like the set of questions, you can add more questions. If you want to add more stuff to the eligibility, you can add more stuff to the eligibility. But I just feel like at this point of time, all the grant forms that AI has been creating, and I've tested many by now. This is the first one that I created in public and shared it publicly. The very first auto-generated grant form, I've been like super blown away because I've checked tons of examples even before shipping the code. And like, oh my gosh, I can't tell you. It comes with examples too. Like this is examples that to help the applicant. They can fill this form here, or they can like describe the idea here, but everything is so guided, and it is human plus AI because you are the one who's dictating the AI how you want to allocate funds, right? AI is not coming up with that amount. And you are the one who's reviewing the form and making sure, yeah, these questions are right, or I need to add more questions, or I need to add here. But the thing is that AI is one-shotting almost everything. So I haven't felt the need to like really edit anything more. And so this is the form. It's been published in the grant library. I've created 2 forms since yesterday using GrantOrb.com AI's new capability to create grant application forms from scratch. And these are the 2. Vancouver Sidewalk Garden Grant created yesterday from my mobile phone as soon as we published the code. And this is the second one that I just did on the live stream. Creative LM grant for Vancouver high schoolers. All the ones that you see before are the ones of other foundations. They're not using GrantOrb. These are like old systems. I can show you how painful it is. It is seriously very painful. If you want to just see it. I don't even feel like seeing it. This is an LOI, so it's small. Trust me, guys. It is, oh gosh. That's why people want to keep it to the last second, because it's not fun filling it up. It's not fun. Anyways, we've enabled the both sites now. We've enabled the grant seekers and the grant makers. And grant makers, if you want to know what else is coming up next, it's going to be assessment, AI-powered assessment. So you don't have to read the grant application forms. But again, it's AI plus human collaboration. You have the say all the way along. But AI is doing the heavy lifting. You are not doing the work. You are literally reviewing the work of AI. AI is a really smart, intelligent intern that's part of your team now. So you're still the boss. So that's it. Let me stop sharing and say a few words. I hope you learned not only how to disrupt an industry that fails to innovate. They've had enough chances, like been around. AI has been around, like generative AI has been around since 2022. They've been sleeping and like hiding their faces, like, no, AI doesn't exist. And lucky for me that I took AI as my weapon of choice to like totally make this industry efficient, the grant industry. And I've helped the grant seekers, and now I'm helping the grant makers because they need help too. They're the ones who are giving money. And trust me, when you give money, your own money, your hard-earned money, you want to make sure that every bit of it is allocated responsibly. So I'm so glad that we can help both ends. And at the end of the day, it helps our planet. because all these funds are allocated to improve Earth, make this planet a better place to live for everybody. So, yeah, like, I don't know. I'm just going to savor this moment because this is historic. This is the very first auto-generated grant form system. So thank you, everybody. And if you are into grant making, resource allocation, or if you know anybody, do spread the word.